Alright, what's up guys? Stonk Scrubby here, back again with another video. Stocks went up, stocks went down, but today we're going to be talking about the main stories from the stock market, getting you guys up to date. So yeah, without further ado, let's go. Alright, so today was not a fantastic day if you're heavily invested in some Nasdaq companies. It looks like your index overall is down over 1% today. Pretty nuts. Nasdaq falls 1% as tech stocks continue to fall, but Dow is in the green. So for those of you that don't know the difference between Nasdaq and Dow, the Dow Industrial Jones averages tend to contain more companies related to industry and like manufacturing, that type of stuff. Nasdaq tends to be more technology. So with technology not doing too hot, the index that's heavily technology based is going to go down. That makes sense. And the reason I think it's going down, this is not financial advice, I'm talking about stock news over gameplay, keep that in mind, is that with interest rates right on the horizon, you know, the Fed's going to make it more expensive to borrow money, and a lot of tech companies don't tend to have the ability to be as profitable without needing to borrow money. So if they need to borrow money and it costs more to borrow money, then their margins are definitely going to be squeezed. Obviously, some tech companies are fine and aren't going to be affected by that, but there are a lot of tech companies out there that aren't even considered profitable yet, so if the cost of borrowing money goes up, they're really going to be affected. Overall, though, it seems like we're just kind of in this cycle where people are pulling their money out of insane high-growth tech names, putting it into more concrete earners, which does make sense. This does happen with cycles, but yeah, Nasdaq down 1% today. Moving on to a company that's definitely not having a great time, sort of related to technology. Peloton, the company, is having themselves a very rough year just because, you know, when you had a great 2020, eventually the demand is going to catch up. Peloton's holiday may have been weaker than expected, analysts say, prompting lower forecasts. I feel like Peloton's just one of those companies that had an absolute insane run, right? It just so happened to be like the cycling bike right when COVID popped off, so obviously a ton of people were working out at home and all that, so their sales were naturally going to go bonkers. But yeah, I'm not surprised that at this point, everybody that wants a Peloton already has a Peloton, right? Like, I don't exactly know how many more people are going to be shelling out the money for the bike. But on top of that, if anything, once you sell a crap ton in a year, the only way your user base is really going to go is down. Because, like, alright, let's say the most people that are ever going to buy an exercise bike bought it during quarantine. That would make sense, right? They're home, they have a ton of time to exercise, gyms are closed. Are all of those people going to stay on the Peloton, you know? Is everybody that bought one going to maintain that membership? No, probably not. It's like gyms on January 1st. They're full. By the next week later, they're half empty. I'm not surprised that they're having a weak Christmas time and just a weaker time overall, just because, you know, they sold a crap ton of bikes in 2020, but I don't know how long that can last. Moving on to technology that seems to be doing pretty well. Wow, that was a sentence. GM announced their new electric truck and electric version of the Silverado. GM unveils new electric Chevrolet Silverado priced at $39,900 for work truck to $105,000 for the luxury model. Honestly, I'm surprised this took as long as it did. The Cybertruck came out, was a huge hit. The F-150 Lightning's been announced and has been a huge hit. I'm shocked that it took General Motors this long to eventually take the Silverado over to the electric platform. For those of you that don't know a bunch about cars, the Silverado is basically like the Chevy truck, you know. If Ford has the F-150, Dodge has a Ram 1500, this is like that equivalent, I would say. So it's a pretty iconic truck in America, you know. I'm really surprised it took this long, especially considering how well the F-150 Lightning is doing with them doubling production and opening more pre-orders. This had to have been coming for quite a long time, and it's exciting to see GM actually trying to be innovative, you know. They kind of coasted for a while, management wasn't the best. Once again, not financial advice, talking over gameplay, I'm just saying things weren't great, so the fact that they're actually trying to innovate and catch up a little bit will be interesting to see. Ford has been doing a lot too, and honestly, I think a lot of this has to do with Tesla. I think their innovation and just kind of making cars cool again did quite a bit to light a fire under these automotive companies to actually start trying to do stuff again. So yeah, GM definitely kicking it into gear. On top of that, they had the top spot as US automaker maker for like almost 100 years. And just this last year, Toyota ended up passing them. So for the first time in a very long time, GM is in the catch-up position. So I'm not surprised to see them trying to switch stuff up. Moving on over to something gaming related, another thing that I'm surprised hasn't been announced sooner. It looks like Sony is going to be doing a VR headset for the PlayStation 5. Sony teases new VR headsets for its PS5 console. Honestly, I'm surprised this has taken as long as it did from Xbox and Sony just because of how much the metaverse has been getting hype recently, dude. I swear old people are more excited for VR than young people are, I'm telling you. Honestly, I think the metaverse as a concept is a pretty cool idea. That being said, I do think we've got a little bit ways to go, but I think Sony releasing a VR headset for a gaming console makes tons of sense. I mean, overall, you get more developers making more games. If you are looking for a VR experience cheaper than a PC, the PS5 VR combination is probably your best option. And on top of that, if people are going to continue to get more and more into VR, being the first person to, release the headset directly for the console is a big advantage. I know Oculus does stuff and whatnot, but, Sony can definitely do bundles with the PS5, all that good stuff to really accelerate some of the sales. I don't know, to me this just makes sense. Like, this is another one kind of like GM making an electric truck. It's like, you guys didn't do this sooner, I'm surprised there wasn't already a headset for the PS5. I think more and more companies are going to enter the VR market. I think it's going to improve pretty quickly. I personally don't know how much I'm into like VR gaming. I think it's cool, don't get it wrong, but I don't know if I want to be standing up with a headset on whenever I'm gaming. Part of me kind of likes being able to just sit at my desk and goof off on Valorant, but hey, that's just me. Alright, and our last story for the day also has to do with electric vehicles. Sorry for that being so much recently. It's just, there's a lot going on, People are finally waking up going against Tesla. Walmart and FedEx signed deals with GM for thousands of new BrightDrop electric vans. So, another win for GM. I guess today has honestly been pretty good news for them with the Silverado and the fact that Walmart and FedEx are buying a bunch of electric vans. But seriously, good for them. I think fleet vehicles make a lot of sense in terms of like electric vehicles and self-driving cars way more than just the average person. Don't get it wrong. I think if you're buying a car at this point, electric makes sense. And that being said, fleet vehicles, people that are buying hundreds and hundreds of cars at a time are definitely going to have more of a positive impact on the environment if they're electric, Either way, it's good for the environment, but if you have like all of Walmart's delivery vans switch from gas to electric at one time, that's definitely more of an impact than a mom switching over her minivan. No disrespect, either way is good, it just is what it is. On top of that, I think this is a good step for GM to start establishing that like they're the fleet vehicle of choice for electric vehicles. And I even think what makes me very excited about the adoption of electric vehicles from like companies like this is the self-driving possibilities. Self-driving technology we all know is getting better. And I think that's when things really change is, when semi-truck drivers, instead of only being able to drive X amount of hours a day and not being able to take loads certain amount of distances in a certain amount of time, all that good stuff just from like human restrictions of being awake and whatnot. When that changes because your truck can just automatically drive wherever you want it to drive and drop stuff off, I feel like shipping costs are going to go down, and overall, I don't know, I just think it's cool that eventually we're going to have like self-driving delivery vehicles, alright? I think that's pretty nifty. Now, if that doesn't happen and I look stupid, then so be it, maybe I'm just trying to have a little bit of a Disney dream out here, but I think it is a cool step in the right direction to see FedEx and Walmart switching over to electric vehicles, and kudos to GM for getting the sale. I feel like Toyota beating them out and like passing them as the biggest auto manufacturer really made them salty. It seems like that lit a fire underneath them, which is good. If you're invested in GM stock, that's what you wanted, because they were lazy boys for quite some time, especially after 2008 and that entire debacle. But yeah, anyways guys, that's all the main articles that I have for you guys today. Going over the major indexes one more time. Nasdaq down 2.4% at this current moment. That article got even worse. S&P 500 down 1.2%, and the Dow Jones has actually turned negative at minus 0.64%. Looks like quite a bit of that came from the fact that the Fed has talked even more about removing stuff from its balance sheet, which probably is overall good for the economy, not great for stock prices in the short term though, so that's developing. We'll probably talk about that quite a bit more tomorrow. But yeah, on that note, guys, that's going to do it. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I would really appreciate you taking a second to press the like button. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought. And of course, subscribe if you're new. I cover stuff like this every day. If you want to be a real G, I'll put a link to the intro song down below, along with a link to my podcast, The Scuffed Cast. Or of course, you could use code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout. Great way to get a discount on G Fuel. Help me out at the same time. And yeah, last but certainly not least, there's also a link to my merch store down in the description, so feel free to check it out. But on that note, that'll do it. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I will see each and every single one of you guys next time with another video. I'm out. Peace.